Good morning, team. We are back with Cajun Tiger Plays. This is going to be episode 7 of our Let's Play series with Dyson Sphere Program. So, we have lots to do. We're going to start by destroying some things. First, we're going to destroy that because we don't want any more Mark 1 sorters. We want to get Mark 3 sorters going. So, we will do that by adding a couple of assemblers there. And we're also going to need to take down this belt that we built high. And we actually want it to be on the ground because we'll need those coils to insert into an assembler here. And finally, we want our Mark III sorters to go into this particular depot. All right, so the first thing, in order to build Mark III sorters, we need Mark II sorters. And in order to build Mark II sorters, we need Mark I sorters and electric motors. So we'll bring in the Mark I sorters and the electric motors from here. And yes, I did say both electric motors and Mark I sorters from here because we are going to add our Mark I sorters that we have in inventory, all but 100, we're going to add to there so that they can be built. Then we'll take those Mark II sorters and add them to here, where we will build our Mark III sorters. In order to do that, we need the electromagnetic turbine. So we are going to build electromagnetic turbines. We need them for a lot of things in the game. So we're going to actually store the extra ones that we don't need for Mark III sorters. In order to build those, we need electric motors and we need magnetic coils. So we will take electric motors from there, take magnetic coils from here, and put our turbines on the belt, feed them into there for our Mark III sorters, and put our Mark III sorters in the depot. We only want to get about 3 stacks of those. Now with that going, we can take another depot here and we can put all of our extra Mark III sorters in there. That'll be good. Now, the other thing we want to do is, this is going to be plenty of these, so we're going to reduce that down to 2, which I should have done to start with. And we're going to come down here and we're going to rebuild our steel build. Before we do that, we want to have some things, we need manually crafting going. So we want some things manually crafting today. I'm going to drop a couple of smelters there so that we can drop in our silicon to make some extra silicon and our titanium to make some extra titanium here. Grab our natural resources from there and deposit all of our natural resources into one box. Take all the stone with us that we can carry, and we're going to use that to make a bunch of these. Oops, we forgot to go get materials. We're going to make a bunch of those plasma exciters. We need those in order to make the refineries that we're going to be using today, later today. So we'll fly over here to our lovely steel build and open that back up and go to our plasma exciters. We need 8 refineries, and each refinery uses 6 of these plasma exciters. So we're going to build 10, 20, 30, 40 for now, and we'll collect some from elsewhere later. All right, the other thing is, notice we don't have any steel. And that is because these assemblers are using it all up in order to make foundations, which is fine. That's what we wanted to have happen at that point in the game. But now we actually are going to need steel for some things. So we're going to delete that entire process over there, and we're going to recreate it over here. So we build our steel, gonna tab twice so we can get a little space between each one of them. And this is going to be steel. We're going to bring our iron ingots in, and we can use our copy paste for that. And then we'll take a sorter and feed this particular smelter directly into our foundation build. Then for future builds, future things that we need, we will feed the rest of the steel into here. All right, with all of that going, we also have 40 of these being built. We're going to head over to that general area, start doing some manual mining of natural resources. And once this is up and going, we will talk about our next steps with the new recipe that we unlocked while we were busily working on our other planet. So let me click on here a little bit. While I am clicking, I am going to, as normal, give a shout out today. Super shout out to YKYK Games. That is the company that makes Dyson Sphere. I am intrigued and amazed at how they come up with the idea to do some of the things that we do in this game, particularly the globe construction. It's pretty neat, and shout out to them for giving us a really cool game to play. So, with that said, I'm going to open our menu here. We unlocked this particular recipe earlier, X-ray cracking. And if you look on the right-hand side, it uses one refined oil, which I've called light oil in the past. It's refined oil. Uses one refined oil and two hydrogen to create the graphene and the hydrogen. So in order to, it creates three hydrogen though. So if we can feed those three hydrogen back into the process, we'll be getting one extra hydrogen and one energetic graphene every 4 seconds. If we do this 8 times with 8 refineries, we will be getting 2 per second, which will be great. 2 per second means that, let's jump back in here, 2 per second means that we will be able to completely fill up and use all of the smelting, all of the matrix labs to build red cubes. And we're getting warnings because our research is too slow because we need more red cubes. So, with all that in mind, that's what we're going to be working on first. We'll bring our refined oil out. Each of our builds is going to take up 5 of these horizontal spaces, these meridians. So we'll go 5 there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't quite need everything there. Oops, let's leave it that way. And then each of those builds is also going to be outputting energetic graphene, which we need there. Now, we jump back in here and see if we are not quite ready to build all of them, but we can start building a few of them as soon as we grab some more steel. So fly back over real quick. Again, flight mode, we talked about a little bit before. Flight mode is faster, but it does use more energy. So be aware of that. If you want to use flight mode, that's great. You can. It is faster. If you need to run somewhere real quick, it makes your drones a little bit harder to catch up, but it does use more energy. So be aware of that. All right, now that we have our steel and we have plenty of these plasma exciters ready to go, we can make up to 5 of our oil refineries. We're just going to make 4 for now. Oh, no, we're not going to make 4. I take that back. We're going to not make that one until we have enough plasma exciters to make it. Now we can make it. And we'll worry about the rest later. Okay, we are going to use our splitters. We haven't used them a whole lot before, but we are going to use them now. We're going to put them off of these main lines on the 5x5 grid. We're going to go 1 to the right and 1 up. Again, we're leaving a main line here, and we're just going to drop down 8 of these. We will explain how we're going to use these later, but they are critical for making this build work. While we're over here, and while the drones are catching up, we're going to stop movement of the hydrogen for just a minute. We want to grab just a little bit of this to get our process started. So 6 will be plenty. We can click and drop there. And now we can take our power poles all the way back through, which will give us plenty of power to power the process. And we can now start building the input line. So from this main line here, just going to go down and build across, and all of our hydrogen is going to go from sorter or from splitter to splitter this way. And then the final line is going to come out, jump all the way up here, and just get dumped in the tank with everything else. We also want a line coming out directly up for each of our refineries. So we'll have a line that is going out and a line that is going back in. And as soon as we get a refinery built, hopefully this will make it more obvious. Just trust me for now. We have to spaghetti this a little bit. I'll show you on the next one. We can't go straight down because the splitter is there, so we go just above it and spaghetti just a little bit. Build. These are all output lines. Now you can build these differently. Just make sure that these two lines do not connect. Don't want them connected there. Finish clicking through on building these, and while our drones go to work, we will drop our first refinery and talk a little bit about how this is going to work and make one last setting before we put our sorters down. So our splitter here, you can see, let me move over so we can actually see, you can see where each of the lines connected, we have a circle. We didn't talk about this before very much, but the teal is for input, the brown is for output. So we want to prioritize this output heading north-south, north actually, because that's what's going to feed hydrogen back into the refinery. So we're going to click there, and we're going to use our copy-paste ability to paste this to these other sorters, and those settings will copy over. Get those last two close enough so that we can paste to them. Now we can do our sorters to see how this is going to work. First, we'll jump in here and choose our X-ray cracking recipe and drop off our 6 hydrogen that we use to manually start the process. Now we're going to take our light refined oil in, and it's going to start working. Then we want to use the tab for an output up here for our energetic graphene, and then we want to use the tab over here for an output for our hydrogen. Now hydrogen is going to come out, it's going to hit this splitter, and it's going to come up here. We're going to take that hydrogen back in to refuel the process. And until this line fills up, no hydrogen is going to come over this way. So we're going to shift, left click, copy and paste, and get our drones building all of our refineries. And when that's done, oh, we didn't build any more refineries, silly me. We need 1, 2, 3, 4 more refineries. And they'll take a while to build all of those. They are slow, but we can come back and see how this works. So as this line fills up, we should see in the next time or two, we should see hydrogen start coming through and start feeding up to feed this process. There we go. One hydrogen coming in, it goes in, the next one comes in. So this recipe works on 4-second cycles. So every 4 seconds, we're getting an extra hydrogen from here. 2 of them are going to go back up this way to refeed the process, the 2 that we took to start the process. And then the rest are going to come over here. So now that this one's running, we're getting 1 extra hydrogen, 3 output, but 2 go back in, 1 extra hydrogen every 4 seconds. So now we're getting 2 every 4 seconds. And as that one fills up, we'll see hydrogen start coming across here to feed the next process. There we go. So now that that process is fed, it gets its 2 hydrogen, and now we're getting 3 extra hydrogen per second. Our other 2 that finished building, and we've got 1 more to go. I don't think we have it yet, so we'll wait on the build to finish. Let's see. It is working, so good. All right, now energetic graphene is also being produced. So if we don't do something with that energetic graphene, it will back up our production. and we will be in a difficult place because we won't be producing the extra hydrogen that we want. So we're going to clear out this belt. We'll let it get used so that we're not adding it to our inventory when we don't need it. And then we're going to bring our energetic graphene over here. Now, the problem is over here with this recipe, we are only building one energetic graphene every 4 seconds. And over here, each of these is using 2 every 6 seconds, so 1 every 3 seconds. So that's clearly possibly not going to be enough. You can do the math yourself if you'd like, but just to be safe, we'll pull the extra from here. We want to go into our splitter and tell it to prioritize this left-hand side as we're looking at it, so that the energetic graphene from there is coming first, so that we're using that first. And you'll be able to see that right away. As it's using it, it's pulling from there, it's ignoring here. So unless this line runs out, which it might, I didn't do the calculations, it will continue. Oops, we did not need this one. It will continue to use this energetic graphene first, which will allow all of our refineries to keep producing hydrogen, which will hopefully very, very soon start using. Yeah, there we go. We're already seeing it. Already using those. Okay. All of that done. We're about to get thrusters, and we'll work on that in a minute, but we're also doing this vertical construction. And in order to make use of that, we're going to want to use more of these matrix labs. We'll talk about it when it's available, but for now, we're going to build 6 more of those, and I believe I should have looked, did not look. We are short, yeah, we're short the coils. All right, there's our thruster research. We'll work on that in a few minutes as well. But let's come over here and 2 things that we can run out of the most. We'll grab thrusters and iron, and we'll come back over here to land for just a minute, and we're going to build 7 more of those matrix slabs. Come up here, grab a little bit more titanium, and we'll drop that into here. And we'll drop the silicon into there. We can drop off the rest of our natural resources here, not the copper. We can drop off, we'll grab those, drop off, we'll just drop off the silicon there. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to make these thrusters. Before we do that though, we're going to go into our technology menu, and we're going to jump back over to technologies. We are going to not make the proliferator at this point, so I'm going to right click on that. The reason being, the proliferator Mark 1 is good, but it's not as good as some of the others. And there's a lot of other stuff we want to research to kind of crash our way into being able to move things from planet to planet. So in order to make these particle traps that we need for our planetary logistics systems, we also need graphite, which is up here. So, or graphene, excuse me. So we wanted to research the graphene first, and then we'll research the magnetic particle traps, and then finally, with the ability to do both of those, that will enable us to make the planetary logistics system. So actually what I want to do, let's mark both of those off. Let's enqueue this one first, because these logistics drones, we don't need that that container to make them, and we can start making these earlier and sooner. We just need those processors and the thrusters that we've already unlocked. So then with that done, then we can do our applied semiconductor research to get that graphite, and then the magnetic particle trap to get these particle containers. Okay, the other mistake that I made is in thinking that these planetary logistics systems were the end goal, at least for this initial part of our build. It is not. These allow you to move items from planetary logistics station to planetary logistics station using these drones on the same planet. In order to move from planet to planet, we need the interstellar logistics station, and we need the interstellar logistics vessel. Those are going to require yellow science in order to do. And if we want to do that from star system to star system, we also need warpers, which we'll get into later because they need a lot of stuff. These are built using high strength titanium alloy, which is here, which also needs yellow science. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. But in order to do either one of those, we need yellow science first. We only need 200, 120 here, 80 here. So we're going to jumpstart the system and get our structured matrix building as quickly as we can. In order to build them, we need titanium crystals and we need diamond. Diamond is easy. It's up here with crystal smelting. It is a little bit of blue and red science, and it just uses the energetic graphene that we already make. We also learn how to make crystal silicon, and we can harvest diamonds if we find kimberlite ore on a planet. We don't have kimberlite ore in our system, so we're going to need to make it from energetic graphene. So we'll enqueue that one. The other one that we need is this titanium crystal. In order to make a titanium crystal, you need 3 titanium and 1 organic crystal. Organic crystals are here. We unlock those by getting our chemical engineering processing. Again, we don't have an organic crystal ore deposit in our system, so we're going to have to make them using either plastic, refined oil, and water, or using wood and leaves and water. So it's a good thing we've been collecting those leaves. So we'll enqueue that one, and all our queues are full, so we can't do anything else just yet. All right, so let's get our thrusters started down here. We are going to make our microcrystalline components there. We're going to do our processors there. We'll do our logistics drones there, and we're going to do our thrusters here. So in order to make those thrusters, we need copper and we need steel. So we don't have steel that we can get to easily, so we're just going to bring a belt down just that little bit, delete that container, and we'll use our inserters, our sorters, to put the steel in. We also don't have copper yet. We do have copper over here from our build of coils and circuits. So we're going to bring the excess copper from there, bring it out to here temporarily, just long enough for us to reconnect that so we don't forget. Bring it over, and I'm going to push the up arrow so that we go up a line, and we're going to come all the way down to the end of that smelting array, press R to change the rotation, and we're going to drop that there. We're going to go back down to our ground level, and we're going to come all the way over here. We're going to pass up where we're building the thrusters because these microcrystalline components also need copper. So we'll use the copper from them for them as well. We're going to grab a depot to put it here, and we have vertical construction. Roll.
You've unlocked the vertical construction technology. When building facilities such as matrix labs, depots, and storage tanks, you can try to build them upwards, making more efficient use of space.
Right, let our drones finish here and get our copper inbound, and we should, as we need another power pole here because we deleted that other one, we should see our first thrusters being built. There we go. First thrusters being built and first thrusters being stored. All right, we're going to let that go for a little bit. We will get to our upgrade that we just finished, but before we do that, we want to come down here and we want to grab all of those sorters that we built. We're going to take one and drop it here so we can get our Mark 1 sorters in from the assembler, and then we're going to put the rest of our Mark 1 sorters into that depot so that they can be used in the process. All right, all that done, let's fly over here and we're going to up the tower. We're going to increase the size of these towers by two more. We can't go any more than two. We can only go up to five now. We could only go up to three before, but five is better than nothing, and five is better than three. We are also going to delete these sorters, and we're going to use our Mark III sorters for this instead, so that we're taking the resources in a lot more quickly. Don't want to forget our outbound, because we want to take resources out more quickly as well. We can do twice there, these twice, and then here do the same thing. Oops. There we go. And then we can insert with our Mark III sorters, which inserts things a lot faster. Actually, 3 times as fast. We can delete these 3 sorters here and pull these out with Mark III sorters. And we want to do the same thing with our blue science down here. Be careful with this one, because you don't want to accidentally delete the assembler. But it's very, very tight quarters. Alright, get rid of those. Get our Mark III. Where did they go? There they are. Mark III inserter is there. We'll delete that one and get 2 lines out here. And then we'll delete these 3 carefully so we don't delete the whole box. And we'll add a couple of more constructors there. Then we're going to add 2 here, and we also want to fix our lines going in here. And our lines going in here. Use our Mark III inserters there. And actually here we are going to change, and we're going to use these here. All the way down to there. That's why we have some extra research labs, because we want to research even faster. And we can do that with the Mark III inserters much more easily than otherwise. So we'll click research on that, dump those red cubes in. We'll move our power to there. And then finally, bring our bring our yellow belt, our blue circuits, our blue matrices, and insert them here. All right, that gives us a lot of research going on, getting everything researched really, really fast, as quickly as we can. As we close out for today, we will come over here, grab the stuff out of these 2, and don't have any more silicon to put in, but we can load up on titanium. We can drop off our titanium here and our silicon here. All right, we do have a little bit of hydrogen left too. We'll put that there as well. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this playthrough series. I hope you're enjoying it. I am enjoying playing again. We will come back next time and we'll work on those microsilicon and crystal and microcircuits, and then we'll get our planetary logistic systems up. We've got lots to do, and I hope you're enjoying this. Give me a like, a follow, a subscribe, give me a comment. Let me know that you're enjoying. Let me know if you want to see anything, if you have any questions. I appreciate the feedback, and we will catch up next time. Remember, players, that's Tron. He fights for the users. Keep building, team.